What's going on, everyone? Austin John Plays here, and today I'm going to be going over the 4 different sizes of prefab homes in Pokopia, which is best for you, and what the advantages are that you may not even know. Today, we're going to be taking a look at prefab houses in Pokopia, and if you should or should not be using them. There's a variety of advantages and disadvantages when using them, so I think it's important to actually talk about, highlight the pros and the cons of them, so let's get into it. There's essentially 2 different categories of prefab houses. One of them is going to be the simple huts. There's the pink hut, the orange hut, the gray hut, and the yellow hut. These are typically the houses that you find broken down throughout an area once you first get there. The pink hut, there were 2 of them next to the Pokemon Center in the wasteland as soon as you spawned in, but they were pretty messed up. In fact, I think there's like 7 or 8 of the pink huts throughout that map in various levels of decay. Then once you get to the shore, you're gonna realize that the orange huts, there's 2 of them as soon as you walk in, almost perfectly intact, and you probably set up shop in those houses. One important thing to note is that the 4 different huts that you can build, these are just out in the world. As you open the door, you just build inside of here. The camera is here. It's not its own separate environment. It's just part of the world. You can deconstruct it piece by piece if you want to. You could build it up piece by piece. You could modify it. You could use it as a base for something else. But as you build it, it's just the flat out house. Throughout the game, you're going to be acquiring and building many different prefabs, and I thought today was a good time to look at the sizes and the advantages of actually using them. For this, I bought the city kit. That's the city den kit, the city hut kit, the city cottage kit, and the city house kit. I just want to say I'm very proud of myself for not making a single joke about the word city based off of South Park's Mr. Kim, only because I'm family friendly on this channel. But do me a favor, if you know what I'm talking about, every time that I say city, just think of it as the way that he says it, and that's gonna bring a smile to my face. The tutorial also required you to use the leaf den kits, which take up a space of 2 by 2, and you kind of have to have an entranceway at the beginning. The city den is the same thing as the leaf den. It's a tiny little 2 by 2. It takes a very small amount of materials that are more common in that area, and it takes only 15 minutes and 2 Pokemon to build. Once we get to the city hut kit, this takes up an area of 3 by 3. And while this required 5 metal, 5 lumber, and 5 stone, this one requires double that amount and then a 4th material added in this case, glass. I have all those materials, great. Now we get to the city cottage kit. This one takes up an area of 5 by 4. So it increased 1 depth-wise and increased 2 width-wise. We still have the 1 resource local to that area, in this case Pokemetal. We still have the new resource that was added in, glass, and now it takes 2 additional resources, these ones requiring brick and concrete. I have all these materials. And then we come to the largest of all. This is the house kit. There's a stick in the way. I have to go pick up that stick, and now it could be built. This is the first time that the depth increases by 2, and the width once again increases by 2. This one requires those 3 materials. We dropped brick, but now we added iron ingots. And we need 8 Pokemon to build this. Now, I just need to go ahead and get myself all of these Pokemon, so we could start building these. The specific traits that are required from the Pokemon in order to build are gonna vary based on the type of building, like this being the city set. If you pick like the forest set, you're probably gonna need a cutter, but for the city set, you'll need unique things like a teleporting Pokemon. Keep in mind, if you ever need someone to help you build, you can just bring Pokemon from other towns and then just escort them over, and they'll, you know, come on over and help you out as temporary members of this island. Or sorry, this building area. Abra, you get closer. Great. Begin building the city house. Completion time is tomorrow. It's 5 in the afternoon right now, so a lot of these are just going to say tomorrow. The second size, the city hut, takes 1 hour to complete. The city den, you know, the smallest one, that only takes 15 minutes though. So tomorrow, we're gonna check back in and compare all of these different builds. Good morning, everyone. Are you guys ready to check back in on those houses? Because I know I am. First up is going to be the smallest one that we're gonna talk about the least, just because it It's the same exact one as the tutorial. It took 15 minutes. I just wanted to build the city versions of them because I haven't seen the city versions, and I think they're pretty neat. For reference sake, the furniture that I'm going to be putting in the houses is a 2x2 bed, a 2x2 table, a 1x1 table, and then I just have an extra 1x1 bit with me. The reason I showed them out here is because inside it could be kind of disorienting, especially in the smaller habitats that you can't see much. The smallest one only has sort of like a 2x4 buildable area. Even though I have this stool with me, it's not letting me place it down. If I finagle it, I can kind of do that. Nope, no space for anything else. Huh. So maybe there's like an arbitrary limitation on the size of the items. Like that can go there. Cool. It really, really limits how much space you could take up. You could probably only take up 6 squares of this interior. Hariyama, are you too big to move in there? Yeah. So the smallest house is too small for some larger Pokemon. Let's move on to the second one. This is the city hut, the one that takes 1 hour to construct. Oh, this is much more spacious. So we have a building area that is 6 wide and 4 deep. It allows the construction of 2 larger objects and a smaller object. You do allow 3 large objects, so if you wanted to, there you go. You also see at the top that we still only have room for 1 inhabitant. Hariyama, can you move in here? Yep, Hariyama can live in there, no problem. House number 3, the cottage. Now this is a proper size house. This one really has some presence and also doesn't feel like enormous. I could see a row of these and it fits so well into everything else going on. Oh, this is a big house. Also, you have full camera control. So this is like your typical Animal Crossing sized house. So we have a house that is 10 wide, because if I put this down, we still have room for 2 more at the side, and 8 deep. This is a big boy. This is a very adequate sized house for anyone who would want to live here, even with multiple people. This can only house 2 inhabitants. For taking up a space that is 3 by 5 plus that one little walkway, so let's say 4 by 5. No, you could still decorate out here. 15 blocks, housing 2 Pokemon, that's not bad at all. As opposed to this one that's taking up 9 spaces and can only house 1 Pokemon, that's not worth it at all. Let's move on to the largest house. This is the tier 4 house. It is very large. This is a beautiful home. It's just the one next to it, but double the size. Okay, so there are multiple rooms in here, and this definitely looks like a room divider. Yep, it is a room divider house partition, that's what I meant, that you can build and take down wherever you want. The left side of here comes in at 6 by 10. This right side comes in at 7 by 10, plus the divider, so that's 8 plus 6, 14, 14 by 10 in this first room. And then let's head back here and we can go up. We have a second floor. It looks like this second floor is also the same size. This is an enormous house. Wait, can I put 2 pieces of furniture on the 3rd floor and 1 piece of furniture on the 1st floor and it still counts as 3 pieces of furniture for the house? Well, it didn't make a whoosh sound or anything, but maybe that's because the house is too big. Oh, and there's double doors that the character opens and closes. No, this isn't responding properly. It looks like you have to have 3 pieces of furniture on a single floor for it to count. When you're in here, you're not allowed to run. Just like when you're inside of the gatehouses between the different zones. I didn't think that would actually come up. I mean, in the smaller houses, that wasn't a thing. This is also the first house that panning actually feels necessary to see how much room there is. 3 furniture items, yep, there's the sparkle. Now it's considered a legitimate home. And I'm gonna assume we could fit 4 Pokemon in here? Yes, 4 Pokemon in here. For a house that measures 8 by 5 on the outside, 40 tiles in total, housing 4 Pokemon, that's kinda not great. I think this house right here, housing 2 Pokemon, is a better bang for your buck. As far as materials, you can build 2 of this house for the cost of this house, plus your 4th material is going to be a cheaper asked for material. Yeah, have one of these as like a cool big house to show off and build and everything. But if you need to spam a bunch of houses and you don't want to build small modular homes, then yeah, I would recommend the tier 3 house. The tier 3 home costs 500 coins, the tier 4 home costs 1,000 coins and a more expensive fourth material to build. So when comparing those options, I would say you should always go for the tier 3 home unless you need like a real flagship home in the area. However, the fact that you could just build a modular home, and while they don't look nearly as good, these huts house 4 Pokemon in a space that's essentially 30 blocks in total. The huts are 6 by 5, so about 30 plus the porch, and they house 4 Pokemon. The inside is much more cramped. However, there's one enormous advantage, and I hope you made it this far into the video, to doing these small prefab homes compared to building your own. And that's the game likes to unload Pokemon. You can only have, my estimate is somewhere between 20 to 30 Pokemon visible in one area at one time. Any more than that, and the game just won't load the Pokemon, and it will say that the Pokemon isn't there. And it constantly rotates the Pokemon in and out, so you get to see a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And it typically goes for a thematic reason. Like if it's raining out, it will choose to make Charmander stay home because he doesn't want to get wet. If it's daytime out, then any nocturnal Pokemon like Ghastly and Hoothoot, those Pokemon will choose to remain indoors. Just a quick note here, these Pokemon, when they are unloaded and not visible at any time, say for example you need one of them, you can just go to their house and use 1 honey and then they just magically spawn in, no problem, so don't worry about that. There is one scenario in which it's extremely inconvenient, and that's if the Pokemon are homeless. So if you're doing a big revamp to a town, which I am doing in my main series a few episodes from now, and you demolish all of your modular homes, then only 20 Pokemon are going to be seen, and the other 20 are going to be homeless and you can't find them. Even a teleport or fly Pokemon are unable to find them. Meanwhile, if they did have a home, the teleport or fly Pokemon would say, hey, I don't know where they are, but do you want to go to their home? Hinting that you should use the honey. So it's in your best interest, if you are going to be demolishing a lot of homes, to move the Pokemon a little bit at a time. Otherwise, your town rating will fall down from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, etc. The homeless, unfound Pokemon will eventually show up in 2, 3, 4 hours from now, but it is very inconvenient. The reason I bring this up is because all of my environments on both of my games, I have not built those homes, and now it's starting to get too cramped. Your Pokemon with useful abilities that you're going to constantly be using, at least 1 grow, at least 1 burn, those should be in a cottage kit near your spawn. And then as far as your unnecessary Pokemon, like your 12th grower and all of your water type Pokemon, because they don't have a lot of use except if there's going to be muck on the ground, and that's only for 1 time, then yeah, shove those guys into a cottage. Sure, keep some out to watch them swim around. It's always nice to watch, especially when there's a waterfall feature. I'm buying the stone cottage kit and the leaf cottage kit. What's the cost of building these guys? 20 lumber, 20 leaves, and 20 stone. That's nothing. And this one is 25 stone, 25 brick, 25 iron ingots. Iron ingots is by far the most plentiful. Guys, listen, the cottages? You should probably start building the cottages. Now the question is it better than just doing the smallest one? This little tiny house that can't fit larger Pokemon, it can only fit the smaller ones. In theory, in the same exact footprint, you can fit technically 5. So if you were to build 2 next to each other, then you can build 10 of the tiny houses, housing 10 Pokemon, or you could build 2 of the larger houses, housing 4 Pokemon. So if you want it to look good, then yes, go for the tier 3 homes, because this looks like a real home. But if you just need to hide Pokemon so they're not visible and not taking up resources from the map, and they aren't very picky, shove them in the tiny ones and put it on the other side of the cliff or the hill or wherever you want, or dabble them around, or that could be like the low town area, and it just costed some leaves and some lumber. The tier 1 house is a total of 4 spaces. That's it, and it can house 1 Pokemon, meaning that it has an efficiency of Pokemon per square of 0.25. Your second one, despite it being a rectangle, is actually a 3x3, and it takes up a space of 9, houses 1 Pokemon, but it can be a tall Pokemon, so that might be a differential thing for you. And this has a rate of 0.1 Pokemon per block. Once we get to the tier 3 house, this is 20 total blocks, and it houses 2 Pokemon, so at a rate of 0.1 Pokemon per block. And the largest house is 40 total blocks, again, plus porch, at the same exact rate of 0.1 Pokemon per block. Except for the den that only houses small Pokemon, all 3 of the houses are going to be the exact same efficiency for housing Pokemon per block. The den is 2.5 times more effective than all the other houses, but it looks horrible. So if you don't care about hiding them, go for it. Something I want to know, can you build on top of these? With only a height of 3, you can go ahead and make it a double-decker and have extremely efficient housing. Can I build on top of this one? Oh, and this one is also pretty tight in housing, so yeah. Using these as double-deckers, not the worst idea. Gonna say that. So if you were thinking of doing like a garbage tower dystopian Ready Player One sort of environment, these 2 are pretty great for that. But if you want a nice looking town, this one, fantastic. Bigger one, the best. And that's everything I have to say about comparing the prefabs. You've seen the options, it's up to you to choose what you want to do and how you want to build and customize your various islands in Pokopia. I also have a video talking about modular homes, and if that's a better choice for you, that you could just slap down a home of various sizes and decorate however you want, that might be more up your alley. If so, that video is probably on screen right now and you should check that out. Also, I have a full informational let's play / guide of this entire game, so that playlist is on screen too. My dudes, thank you so much for being here. Until next time, Austin John out.